They have had a very interesting map rotation so far in this phase. Be that as it may, let's check out how that's going to work out for them now in the 5th map. What are the drafts going to reveal here? Would expect a little bit more of a focused draft from Monkeys now, considering this is game number 5 to run. The band gets the extra value through the interrupts with the owl, so immediately go on this time.
I understand the concept behind that. We've seen Roll20 do a lot of things with Tyrande. She's great in the current meta. Really strong hero. But I was thinking, you ban Diablo, you ban Garage, and you just say Robodoba. Can you play anything else outside of that? Because when he hasn't had one of those 2 heroes, Roll20 looks like a very different team.
You also have first pick, so you can make the argument that they should have gone for Tyrande themselves, but maybe not really Splendor's back here. They ban the Garrosh regardless, and through the first pick they can still go into their own tank, but obviously if you pick a Diablo now, you leave Muradin open and vice versa. We had more Muradin plays from the team. 11 so far on the Garrosh side. Yeah, a bit less. So we'll see how sorry, on Muradin side, Diablo side. We're going to see how exactly Monkey play the first pick, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a tank jump up here.
Roll20, even though Abacus isn't, or Abathur isn't really a hero that the Monkeys like, they don't want to deal with any shenanigans. Roll20, they're like, okay, we see where you're going with this Diablo, with the Garage ban, and you ban Tyrande, so we will test out Robodoba's hero pool depth.
So, Roll20, question is Dehaka URL, and is it Muradin that they go for at the front line? Diablo ban on their end definitely limited the pool a little bit, and now you have mostly Inuburak, Muradin, and Johanna. There's the Urel and Muradin. Could have seen a Urel first pick for Monkeys, but surprised that wasn't the case. Would expect them to go for Johanna now, unless they are willing to go into an Inuburak composition again without Urel. That would require Blaze, I guess. So could see them with an Inuburak Blaze here, maybe the Johanna instead. And you can leave the solo laner open for later. Dehaka is still a great hero to take since the map is very big, but it doesn't synergize as well if you want to go into an Uberak. And they go into a Johanna.
If I was Roll20, I would have been slanting towards Dehaka right up until I did see the Genji. Giving armor to the backline once Genji does commit to a team fight can be so impactful and have a huge different outcome just because there's that added sustain. You're trading out the global capability, sure. We saw Roll20 do amazing things with that on Dragonshire in the first game of the series. But just being able to stay alive in these team fights against a team like the Menagerie who seem to want to team fight, I get the argument.
Zeratul, no 1v9 potential for Alex. Okay, saw that a few times. Could have also seen a ban against Dehaka if you want to avoid the global plays. That means that Monkeys still have the side laner of their choice, outside of Zeratul, of course that is, for Alex. So we could see him with Dehaka if he wants to play the global style here. Mayef again banned out, this time a bit later than we had in the previous games. But yeah, Roll20, time to show the DPS.
They have Muradin, they have Urel. Their front line has been decided. I would be a little surprised if we see like a further commitment to a front line with Thrall showing up. But we did see Thrall show up for them earlier in the composition. I do think that they want to go for their support and then get the damage dealer. They do exactly that. Li Ming, they need this burst damage. I love the adaptation.
Phoenix is also still up. They had a couple of auto attackers they could have taken. Reyna is one of them, so that might be something we see on the last pick here, if they want to go down that path. For the Monkeys, it's a bit of a different story. Again, we're talking offlaner. Blaze and Dehaka are the two that are likely here, depending on the style. Thrall taken. Triple front line? Nope. Thrall over... Thrall over Dehaka or Blaze.
Okay. I mean, Johanna doesn't necessarily need another dive buddy to the extent of like a Urel or, you know, Johanna's not a noob. But Johanna Thrall isn't exactly the front line I thought we would see. Raynor is somewhat exposed, I feel, if there's any flank at all as a result. The root, I don't know if that would be enough peel. And Genji, just kind of out there on an island because those potions only get thrown so far. I'm curious to see how this plays.
Could have seen the Phoenix instead of Reyna if you want to get Thrall synergy with an Earthquake. Personally, I expected Dehaka to be played by them. I really thought they would try and play Dehaka so that they have the global that they can use and also the isolation. But alright, Thrall is going to be the name of the game for Alex. I mean, not a bad hero per se, but these days when we see him, he's mostly in a triple melee setup. Team Liquid really loves to play around that. They do that a lot. Now we're going to have that lineup here from Alex. Hammer again being played by Roll20. Thrall definitely has some value against in that if you connect that well. And I mean, level 4 on Hammer is still fantastic for the Unstoppable. It's just so powerful from the early stage of the game to keep Hammer safe. So that should be something where we're going to see Roll20 have a lot of impact with that hero and a lot of safety to the boot.
I'm always concerned when your Rel is not dealing with a ton of stuns in hard lockdown, because that means the Arden defender is going to be that much more easy to pull off. I see an instance where Thrall throws out the root, and if that was a drag from a Daka, that's the difference between Euro getting taken down or not. But the last game in this series on the left side, Roll20 Esports. Quacknix is on Li Ming, Chris is playing Sergeant Hammer, Zarmony is on Yrel, Robodova's playing Murder, and Shad will be dropping roots with Malfurion.
And to the right side of the map, in this 5th game, we're seeing the Monkeys start things off with Arena played by Crosby. Make on his Genji again, going to be looking for those plays. Alex on Thrall, Green Jesus for him, Remabola on Johanna, and Splendor on a Deckard Kane.
I want to see how Genji gets played here. Who do you jump on? You could go for Li Ming, but Sergeant Hammer has armor. I mean, Malfurion doesn't have ice block anymore, but the timing on when Genji goes in is going to define his team fights. If he's patient, if he finds the right opportunity, if there's enough poke, then sure, he could do really well. But if he goes in there and just exposes himself early and he has to retreat, Roll20 kind of has already won the team fight.
I mean, the Monkeys have a lot of potential with this, though. I'm not 100% sold yet on the Thrall idea. He's not horrible by any means, just given the alternatives on the pick. I'm not sure how much extra value he gets. He's great for interrupts, though. That's one of the big advantages that Thrall has over, let's say, Dehaka. Blaze still has the oil spill that he can set on fire. That's a huge deal. But the chain lightning that we have with the Echo of Elements is fantastic if you just want to delay an alter and make sure that your opponent doesn't claim it. Bit of a skirmish here already happening, though, and Quacknix actually finds himself in no man's land, and that is a very likely kill.
He is just able to get out of there, or is he? Maka's like, hi, goodbye. Dashes in, dashes out. Robodoba looking to have the conversation. Can he hit the Stormbolt?
Not quite.
Maka laces up those Nikes. He's like, Jay's for juke, buddy, I'm out.
It was actually well done by Quacknix originally after he got already put into that bad spot, because he nearly took Maka down with a few fireflies that he sent through there and the quick orb. But then Genji, even being low, realized, of course, that through the kill and the reset, he would be able to stay alive here. So good first blood. Monkeys getting a bit ahead in this game through momentum. Nothing too crazy, though, with low death timers in the early stages. But yeah. Let's see how that's gonna roll out here. Robodoba, by the way, with a perfect storm on level 1, so heading into the extra damage through the burst damage that comes with a Stormbolt.
I'm not gonna use the word disappointed, but to not be-step in that instance, you dash in, you kill Quacknix, you dash out, get away with a sliver health, and juke the Stormbolt. The opportunity was there at the very least. Sapper camp is gonna get picked up for both teams. Monkey Minaj looks to walk those in. Sergeant Hammer not gonna be enough to stop those. Right now, both of these teams are really trying to establish dominance down here in the bottom portion of the map and then look towards the future. Yeah,
Alex also plays a safe top lane now. He lets himself being pushed in here by Yrel and is just continuing the stacking process on the Echo of Element. You want to have that completed around the first altar phase, and he's already sitting at 16, 17 now, so very likely to complete that in just a few seconds with the next wave, so that he can then have that double poke against heroes available for himself.
Menagerie in a pretty decent spot. Right now, just how aggressively Roll20 is positioned forward, I think they very well could come away with 2 of the altars. Yrel should be able to pick that up. But we do have Maki, who's been no stranger to jumping on the other side of the map and applying pressure in instances where he arguably shouldn't. And is he going to pay for it? Ooh, yeah. I need healing.
He thought that he could actually move to the top and move out, but there were already 2 people headed for his escape path. So it was a nice move by Roll20. And that couldn't have come at a worse time, because now it's a 4 versus 5 for a bit longer. But here comes that value through the chain lightning here. You can simply zone that out, delay it for as long as possible. Now we have Genji back, and it looks more and more as if the Monkey Menagerie will still get the lead here in terms of the altars. But there's another kill around the corner for Roll20. Alex is 2 for out, goes down. Maka jumps in again, knows that the Stormbolt still is in cooldown for a few seconds.
Look, I'm sure it puts a smile on anybody's face they managed to take down Alex the Pro G in an HGC game. But to take his life and trade out 4 points on your core, that's a pretty wild decision.
I mean, it's not like they had a choice there. Chris is at the bot lane. Without him at the top, they can't do anything in that regard. And the problem is there is too much interrupt potential for the channel. You have the Chain Lightning on Alex, who they eventually took down, but you also have Deckard Kane, who can get that interrupt, and you have a Johanna there. So with Alder being on the top right, on the side of the Monkey Menagerie, there was little to do here.
It started to ramp up, but then it hits the red line. A lot of burst damage. Quackmix is going to be able to send Raynor back to base. There's that lethality that I love to see out of Roll20 Esports. Zarmany is going to be able to jump away, narrowly avoids the root. Maka continues to be that nuisance. The fly in the ointment doesn't use the deflect. Zarmany is
Robot over, now of course starting to also invade with the rest of the team. Since they have taken those kills, the map control translates into another camp that they take. So they steal that away and put the pressure onto the bottom of the map. 3 kills already against 1. In terms of the objective, they're still a bit behind, but with the lead and experience they take, an early level 10 would allow them to be very aggressive around the altar phase that comes after this one. Already zoning out heavily at the bot lane here to make it more difficult for the Monkeys to take that next shot.
You are heavily taxed when you walk into both Sergeant Hammer and Li Ming. Roll20 showing that they're thinking 1, 2, perhaps even 3 steps ahead by putting so much pressure down in the bot lane. Not only are you establishing control over the overall battleground, but with a single altar down in the bot lane, you're also pretty well positioned. Good amount of damage from Crosby goes on to Chris, who starts to back away. Hits the rocket boosters to escape. Maka, Rimmerballer hanging out in the bush, looking to get that first interrupt, throws at the blind. Flashlight goes in. Quackmix trying to return with the poke. Both of these teams right now, Caldor, just jockeying for position.
Alex is coming in now, though, and so is Urel, slowly making that rotation, too. Again, the interrupts that we see from the Monkeys are strong, but Crosby is really suffering at the hands of Robodoba and Chris, and him falling down in hit points this much forces the Monkeys back eventually. And right now, this is an altar that Roll20 takes easily. It's difficult to engage into that hammer composition with the lineup they have here. Once they have their level 10, if they go for Sundering and they get that without Hammer being able to see it coming so that the level 4 can't be activated, then it's going to be a bit easier to engage upon Chris. But right now, it's a massive problem. And Hammer wants to siege through the bot lane. And once that control has been established by Roll20, it will be difficult for the Monkeys to retake it.
I feel like it's going to take level 10 and Bless Shield before we really see Monkeys step forward and try to take any sort of aggressive stance in these team fights. You're just getting too heavily poked. You're eating Sergeant Hammer, these magic missiles, these orbs are connecting. By the time you really step in to try to get some kind of takedown yourself, your front line's already at half health. Maki out on the flank, potentially looking to dash in. Shad and the crew spot that out, so they start to back away. They are more than happy to just get half of that back out and then come back and get it later.
Now you have the tools, though. Sundering is there, Blessed Shield as well. You can't dodge everything if you're Hammer. There's already the attempt to lock them down with a seal. A Tornado even, too. And you have zone control through... I like the Hyperion Trust because it allows you to retake a bell tower and just zone your opponent out, or at least defend. The problem is that Roll20 is heavily aiming for that bot lane control. And this is very likely to come into play for them eventually. Single altar on the map now. This is going to be a very, very decisive, it could be a game-deciding factor here already. And an early kill would be fantastic for Roll20, but yeah, Lord's going to hinge on that. Reyna falls instead, and that is not a good start.
There's the Tornado, but I don't think that's going to be enough of the disruption. Twilight Dream goes out. X-Strike. Maki is going to slip on a banana peel. Monkey Menagerie. Haha, lol. It's going to be Deckard King getting taken down also. Roll20 right now. They are enjoying this mid-game.
That's a disaster. Monkeys are going to lose the bottom bell tower now. You can delay the channel on the altar, get the extra shot in, and that's full map control at the bot lane established with a camp now pushing through as well already. So another one is about to be taken by Urel with Li Ming rotating in. 5 shots fired. An interrupt through Johanna, but you can't play that game for too long. There's even a Blessed Shield that got thrown out for an interrupt. I mean, that is not worth it at all.
But why, though? That is my immediate question. Maka is back trying to do damage. There's the jump out from Robodoba. Has to use the Avatar. Throws a stun. Shaz there with the roots. Teammates for life. Maka starts to step forward. See if he can get some kind of damage on to Quackmix. There's a nicely timed deflect. With Sergeant Hammer, with this situation, Roll20, it would be hard for them to ask for anything more. They are fully in the driver's seat.
Yeah, right now they at least defended against the 2 mercenary camps that pushed through, so there were no extra shots fired through that. But the problem still remains. You have lost control of your bot lane. You are behind in experience. You're fighting from a position of weakness. And how do you pull that off? You have to try and control boss at the top, but you can't lose more. The Roll20 is going to try and hold on to that bot lane. and things are just going to get worse from here on out. We're having 2 altars activating next, and that's normally an even trade on the top left, top right. But this is rough. Monkeys need to, again, find that engage somehow with the Sundering, with the Blessed Shield, find a kill somewhere. And things are not looking pretty. Monkeys are doing what they did in these situations in nearly every single game. They're starting to 5 and 4 man the map and try to force fight somewhere.
Roll20, they definitely seem to have the number of that at the back end of this series. Zarmi steps out. There's the rotation. Maka goes in. The root is going to connect. Arn defender forced out. Lornado, he manages to hit the bank shot to wrap around that. If that pulled him back in, uh-oh.
Yeah, that was a little NATO if I've ever seen one. That wasn't even close in that case. So, how to engage this? You need level 13. They're going to get that. And then they're going to try and force a fight again. They're already looking... They might look to maybe force a boss at some point to force a battle there, but that can only happen through Lornado and Sundering. They have actually chance of controlling that point. But they are, again, being aggressive here. So they're going for the interrupt already, and they're trying to force the left side, which you usually don't see that often. This altar phase is normally an even trade, but they are trying to force the fights, as they did in previous games.
Maka, again, trying to find that way into the team fight, getting heavily poked down by Sergeant Hammer. Roll20 looks to be more than ready for it. The side interrupt from Crosby is going to be enough to draw this out. But Roll20 continues to force back the Menagerie. Level 13 is here for both of these teams. They look to step in. The root slowdown from Decacane not going to be able to reach Robodoba, though. They're going in.
Yeah, they're going for Robodoba, and he might actually be in trouble. He already used to escape here. Here comes another attempt to go for him, but the stun connects, and Genji is in trouble. Chris is the one but there's so much pressure on him. Monkeys want to go for Chris. If they eliminate Hammer, then they have a chance to go for this play. But the problem that they have is it's so tricky since Chris is just waiting for the Sundering. Here comes the explosion against Reyna. Great kill by Li Ming. She herself gets blown to pieces after Lornado comes through. Shat also falls, and that's 2 kills all of a sudden that the Monkeys get, and it allows them to maybe make a play here.
Monkey Menagerie, they need to get everything that they possibly can out of this play. It looks like Genji's going to be able to go over and pick up that altar. The takedown on Li Ming was the rallying cry for the Monkeys to try to assert themselves going into this mid-game. Alex the Pro G wastes no time rotating down bot, as Genji is going to be able to come away with that altar. If there is a way for the Menagerie to come back into it, they need fights like that.
Yeah, but they can't... If Roll20 would have made the rotation over to the camp of the Monkeys, Ilex might have actually fallen. There was nobody even close to him. They finally rotated in and they took it, and that was needed. But yeah, that was a bit risky without anyone anchoring the play on the left side and not having the vision they needed. The important part is, though, through the kills they just got, they reclaimed the bot lane.
See that damage going on? Like, he just rotates in, Chris takes him down to 75% health before neurons fire in his brain from the make a response. That kind of burst damage is just such a problem from Sergeant Hammer right now.
I honestly didn't see it. I was more focused on the bot lane control. Like the bell tower being taken back was a big deal here for the Monkeys. They at least hold now bot lane control again, so that means the mercenary camps that are taken by Roll20 are not as much of a threat directly to the core. So you have a little bit more wiggle room on how we can play this. And they have nearly established even experience again. So for the Monkeys, those kills came at the most opportune time ever.
It allowed them to neutralize and try to get back into this game. Level 16 right around the corner for Roll20. However, Monkey Menagerie not too far behind. Maka jumps in. 16 is picked up. Rimmer Baller on the other side of the map. Did he forget what team he's on? He dives in pretty deep. Quacknix jumps around him with the teleport. There's the Blessed Shield. There's the Sundering. 16 not here yet. Twilight Dream. Li Ming gets immediately deleted. Malfurion drops the roots, drops himself. He gets taken down. Monkey Menagerie, they're on the move right now.
This is exactly what we've been talking about for so long. It's the flanks with Thrall and the Sundering, and that's exactly what comes through in a lot of these cases. You have a Blessed Shield and the Sundering, and if you can take down Li Ming, you don't have to go for Hammer. Hammer is a tough target to kill because of the position in the backline and the level 4 unstoppable. But if you can go for the other squishies, and without an ice block, Valfurion just has trouble in these situations. So we're actually seeing big plays being made right now. Ooh. Nice damage here against Make. He needs to be cautious, but the channel is still happening, and Alex is able to pull that off. Great move by them. They get a lot of value out of this altar phase, and they're going to even channel another one towards the right side, so they are taking the lead in this game. The Monkeys are fully back in this game.
The flank is netting so much value for Monkey Menagerie. You hit one Sundering and suddenly you find yourself up 3 points on the core. Alex the Pro G runs up. Suddenly, surprise, Splendor and Maka are going to be here. Zombie's like, oh, I didn't think you were going to do all this. I left my stove on. I should go.
Yeah,
Tries
Sundering.
to back away. There's the root. Another Sundering. Yrel doesn't even get to use Ardent Defense.
And Robodoba is also in trouble. There's Alpha Wolf ready for Thrall. The tornado comes through, and this one actually connects. And once again, the attempt to jump away, but interrupted. And that was a great condemn here. 2 more kills, and all of a sudden you can go for the top bell tower. You can try and go for boss. The world is your oyster right now if you're a monkey. They are looking great here. Or it's a coconut, depending on how you want to go for it. Could be a banana too. What do I know?
Monkey Menagerie, the team fight raw capability has proven itself time and time again going in the back end of game number 5. They could rotate over towards the boss if they so chose. Quacknix and Chris look to try to get whatever value that they can, joined by Shad. They should be able to go through this bottom altar and then rotate back to get their own. But even then, now we see Roll20 in a position where they're trying to stabilize, where they're trying to find their way into this game.
Yeah, the Monkeys, they're in a great spot now. These fights have been going really well after they got the synergy with the Sundering, the interrupt against the Dwarf Toss, and also stacking the Lornado or the Blessed Shield to interrupt even further escape attempts by Roll20. And it leads to even kills now, and they are invading everything. They have the superior position in bell towers, they have some map control, and that level lead would translate well into an early Storm talent. So great situation to be in for the Monkeys right now. And they're already looking for the next kills here. They're going for Quack, and they get the kill through the Chain Lightning, and RNGesus is on their side.
Alex the Pro G with the no-look Q is going to be able to send Li Ming back to base. Another valuable, critically timed takedown. That should be 2 altars. They're going to go through this bottom one. If they pick that up, that could be the beginning of the end. If they get both of these altars, there's just 1 point on the core left now for Roll20.
That could be nearly game. And again, these plays are exactly what they need. Find a target, get the Sundering, and Alex has been absolutely on point with that. Here comes the engage, so 4 versus 3. The BFG against Alex. He might fall, and he dies, but it's already the end for Malfurion 2. A 1-for-1 trade in this setup. A bad trade for Roll20. They are already down 1 player. There's the kill against Yrel, and that should be another channel. Already 1 completed against Roll20. Here comes the second. Splendor goes in, and that is going to be 1 point on the core on the side of Roll20 Esports.
Oh, to gamble and lose. They tried to go in there. They staggered the deaths out, and now this is going to be a 6-cap. This should potentially be game. Quacknix and Robodoba are going to have to work overtime, because once this bottom altar goes down, no one's rotating to try to get another one.
That's it.
So that's it. Monkey Menagerie, they've managed to do it. Roll20, they try to get the interrupt over the altar, and it ends up being the lethal decision, and they go down in game number 5 to the Menagerie.
The Monkeys take it. They take down Roll20, and that's also the final nail in the coffin. There was an outside chance for Roll20 with the victory over Dignitas to maybe still move out of the Crucible range. But with them now losing to the Monkeys, this discussion is completely over. Impossible for Roll20 to move away. We have our 2 teams locked into the Crucible. It's the Monkeys and Roll20. And Roll20 losing for the second time now in this phase to the jungle.